5 o'clock.
You, Chairman?
Yes.
Take her away.
All right. Do we want to do a pledge or do we want to just get into the meeting?
I think committee meeting, I think we can just do it.
Okay. All right. So, we've been discussing, some needs. We obviously had some needs brought to the council. I believe they were brought to you, Dan, as well. Some needs and then, some potential wants as well. So the police car's kind of met its end of its life. We can't get parts for it anymore. And I know I labeled it as tools, but to me that covers everything that an officer needs to do their job. So, but the police car, I think, is something that we need to look into replacing. I know you're shorthanded right now, but the facts are there are grants out there. I did some research myself. I believe Mr. Weiber has done some himself as well. Just looking into the liability of it, we fought pretty hard to get a chief back on payroll, but now we've got a vehicle that we can't really drive at night due to, the headlights are horrible. The vehicle itself, again, we just can't get replacement parts for as far as meeting the standards of, a police vehicle. So I would like to move forward with, I think we've got some estimates, some total estimates, looking for, some grants. I know it's not going to happen anytime soon. We can probably milk this car out for another 6 months, 8 months, whatever the case. I don't even know how long it takes to build a police vehicle. I'm not that familiar with it, but I would like to move forward with, looking for some grants for possibly early 2026, so that we could kind of get the ball rolling. That's actually the largest item, thankfully. And I think after doing some research, I think we come in somewhere around $70K all in. I know Brian's done some homework on his own and come up with prices for a fully suited Tahoe. Nothing, super fancy, just basically what we need for, a town this size. And again, like I said, I did some homework. I am not 100% knowledgeable when it comes to this stuff, but I have seen quite a few grants out there for this. And I don't know if this would warrant because of the current situation with the lack of staff, and then your position in the near future, if it warrants hiring a grant writer or somebody to look into it deeper. I'm personally all for that. I don't know what they cost. I can't imagine it that awful much. Or if there's somebody at the county that can help us, work through this process. So that's was number one on my list. Number two, our AR was left in unusable condition. The upper on that is rusted. It's probably not able to be used for any kind of qualification whatsoever. I don't believe the owning a gun business, I've never heard of anybody reboring or anything that caliber weapon. Like it's almost worth just buying a new one. The lower's still good, correct? Correct. I think we could probably get an upper for it somewhere around $500. Again, I know Chief has looked into that as well. And then we do have, there's a few other items. And when I get to the end of this, I do have some other things I want to talk about, but like the radios are no good. The taser needs new batteries. I don't know the cost of them. And then, in the near future, within the next year or so, his vest is going to be outdated. So I guess my reason for bringing this to the table is we really need to look at getting some kind of budget for the police department for general maintenance. I don't know why the AR was left the way it was. I don't know if it was a lack of materials to take care of it, or if it was just basic of use. Take it out on a rainy day, put it back in the cabinet without cleaning it. I don't know how it got that way, but it was left that way. So, but I would like to move forward with talking about some kind of budget in the regular meeting. And I don't know. I don't even have a number in my head at this time. But even as small as we are, I think there should be, so there's no shockers like this, $70,000 vehicle. I think that we should, start setting money aside that can accumulate if we use it. If we don't use it, it builds up and, collects interest, whatever the case may be. So that's kind of the ins and outs of my request for this meeting. I know the chief and I have spoke about, some different coverage because it was part of the negotiations with us hiring about working night shift, and there's been a lot of mischief going on, especially on my end of town. And, he voiced his concern about, the headlights. You can't really see 15 feet ahead of him. So again, that was another pusher for me. I'm not about spending money. I truly am not. I know it doesn't grow on trees. I'm very frugal myself when it comes to things like this. And the last thing I want to do is, take a big chunk out of the taxpayers' money. But again, I think a lot of this 70K can be covered by some form of grant. I don't know if you have.
With the radios, I know we got donations from the Legion, and the paperwork I was showing about $3,400 should be still in that donations. The radios, I got 2 quotes on it. One was from AMP, which does the county radios, and one from Darrell Long. Darrell's about $400 more, but I know with Darrell Long, his community, his customer service is phenomenal. If there's an issue, he's here to fix it right away.
It's a phone call away.
I have a cell number.
He's a local guy.
He's local, he's East Troy. So it's not much difference. That's for 3 portables right there. The radio in the vehicle works fine. It's just when I went to get we have identifiers on our portables, so like when I key up, it shows 161. So if something were to happen and I hit my alarm on it, it shows when I talked to Robert Paskey, the director, he's like, I don't know if I could change it because these radios are 20 years old. So I'm hoping the old radios that we had, maybe he'll take them on trade and get a little bit out of them, but I have 2 radios, one radio downstairs, you won't even turn off. You gotta wait for the battery to go dead for it to stop working or take the battery out. So we had about $3,400, I think, in that donation money from the Legion. So the radio's about $3,900, so it costs the borough about $500 to use that donation money to go towards new radios. And I noticed, like, we got a donation, I think, in 2024 from the Legion, but we didn't get one in 2025. It could be just because there was no real police department here to do it.
That's precisely right.
So one of my best coming up here doing a couple of years. I got this from Sarah, it was my best at running over Sarah PD. And it was fitted me, and they said, go ahead and take it, keep it. So maybe we can look at maybe the Legion help possibly 2025 or 2026 for a new bus.
I can address that, obviously, been post commander up there for 21 years. And yeah, we talked about it many times in our directors meetings, home association meetings.
I hate spending money too.
Oh, I know, and we're well aware, believe me, but we can see
So, I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, we can see the need. We will certainly address that.
With Long, do you think there's any chance of, buying 3? He doesn't break down any type of discount. AMP shows us a $251 discount on every unit that we buy. Is this what he's paying and just passing the buck to us? I mean, I'm sure he's making money on this, so I'm just wondering if he doesn't have some wiggle room. Like,
Right, I can ask
you know what I
him.
mean? When he handed this to you, I'm sure you didn't try to debate with him because
Right.
you were just looking for an estimate at the time. I mean, I agree, having somebody local is probably the best option for us simply because, repairability, ease, and he is right here, like you said, so.
And our portals we got for the sheriff's office, come from AMP, and it was trying to get them fixed or something happened with it. It was a nightmare.
Right.
Daryl ended up coming in and taking care of us, you know.
Right.
So, and I can ask him about the old portables too. He can give us some, I mean, they're not good to us, but could be good to
I'm almost certain he'll take them on trade because he usually keeps pretty,
somebody like
You wanna
a
see this,
pipeline
John?
company or
no.
something to that effect, you know.
Right.
As someone who has some retail experience right here in Troy Borough, it's very easy to give a discount. Just double the price when you mark the product and then hang a sign that says 50% off. So I'm not too concerned about what the discount is. I'd like to know. We just need to really aware yourselves about what is the price and what is the service contract and what are the different SLAs involved. You've told me you've dealt with this person before. Mr. Young, is it?
Long.
Long. And you're very satisfied with that. I'm sure that goes a lot with the people in this room.
I use him for work as well.
I use them for audio equipment at this radio station many times.
It's Long's communication right there, and he's right
Oh, I know
on the
that.
right hand side. Yeah.
Yep, I know that.
That's what it is.
Well, so it's, he probably didn't put on some big fancy discount because he's probably has enough respect for us to try not to snub us.
And that could be the case, like I said, but it never hurts to ask. I mean,
Yeah.
Sure.
We can ask him, is there a bulk discount? We're gonna get 3 or 4 units. But that's a good question to ask, sure.
Ask him a question. What did he break down the unit cost on?
On which one, Daryl?
1124, 1154, sorry, a piece, which AMP was 1,004, and they took 251 off, so they come in lower than him on their regular.
And I'm sure if I say something to you, I'll say, hey, listen, AMP come in lower on the quote. What can you do for us?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely want to make sure that we have the funds available to go ahead and buy shortly thereafter before we start negotiating, but, you know, it's definitely worth asking that.
Dan, what's the de minimis before we have to engage in a public bidding operation? Engage in what, sir? What is the de minimis before we have to get into a bidding situation?
You're well below that, depending on how you go about this process. You're looking at 20-some thousand.
Thank you, Dan.
10, 12,000, I think, is written or telephonic. I can't remember, but yeah, you're gonna be well into that. I would recommend that, first of all, how much does it cost to put headlights in a car?
I was going to get to that too. Has anyone, but since Dan brings up, has anyone spoken to Steve Shannon, the last company to do maintenance of the vehicle, and asked them how much money does it cost to replace the dim headlights with something in that right? Has anyone in this room done that?
No, because the vehicle, we can't get replacement parts for the car.
Has anyone asked Steve Shannon, in this room that is, has anyone asked Steve Shannon, can we get replacement headlights that are brighter?
Tell you no.
If I could interject here and understand where you're going, Tim. I didn't ask the question to get around a new vehicle.
No.
I asked the question because we talked about, like 6 months and looking at grants and so on and so forth. Can we get headlights in the meantime so that the car has headlights? That was my
That was
reason.
my,
Yes,
he wants to
absolutely.
patrol at night. No, and he doesn't feel comfortable at night with the
Right,
current.
so let's get new headlights. My recommendation is we get new headlights to take care of that issue until we can move forward. The other things that you're looking at, I'm looking at $500 for repair on the AR, $4,000 for portables. In terms of the grant, we've always gotten vests through a grant through PSB or BPS or something, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's BDP vest,
Yeah.
and then,
Approve that
so
program.
Yeah.
also look at St. Michael's organization. They're helping out with vests, especially for smaller communities as well.
Well, the VPS program, we've used numerous times in the past. It's not difficult, it covers them fully.
Yeah.
And I think that's the route we ought to go for the vest, although that's not a big investment either. So you're looking at about $4,500 so far, not talking about the car. That can be done out of your current budget at this point in time without any difficulty.
Okay.
But in terms of the car, that's a big expense that I would capitalize. And if you capitalize that over a 7-year period, you're looking at setting aside $10,000 a year, approximately over 7 years. So you put the car in the 2026 budget. and then you set aside that 10,000 in the 26 budget going forward for the next 7 years, replenishing what you take out of your capital fund to purchase that car. So the thing to do at this point would be to go down the road and start talking with the vendors and the cars and find out what all you gotta do, if that's a Tahoe that you decide you wanna get, and capitalize it over a 7-year period, and it's all doable.
So you don't think that we could cover a lot of that with a grant? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm not saying not to go for a grant.
Okay.
I think that's exactly what you ought to do.
Okay.
I'm saying we can do it. The only thing you gotta watch out for, depending on the grant you go for, some funding sources will say, if you spend anything on it prior to getting the grant, you get bumped and you're no longer eligible.
I got you.
So that's the one thing you gotta watch out for.
Just some clarification on it, Tim. The parts issue is Ford quit making the Taurus Pursuit Interceptor
Right, so
in
that's
2019.
about 15 years old, that car.
Well, no, it's what, 2017, 2016?
Okay.
2017. They quit making them in 2019.
And we can't pick something up from Mopar.
You cannot just put an aftermarket part off a Napa on a pursuit rated vehicle. If there's a crash and that part comes back as a contributing factor, you are liable. And that since they quit making the vehicle, I doubt they kept up stock in pursuit rated parts for it from the OEM manufacturer.
That would be true of any vehicle, no, not just a police interceptor, but my own personal hoopty.
No, when it comes down to liability, you get in a crash with a pursuit rated vehicle, you are going to be under, every inch of that vehicle is going to be under scrutiny.
The thing that-
Well, if that's the case, should we even be driving it at night right now?
I don't think headlights are what we're referring to.
I think that's an issue. If you're that concerned about liability, I would go back to our insurance people and ask about liability in terms of whether that's going to be a real liability for us or not. I think all the facts around, if you have decided and if you agree and vote at this meeting or recommend a vote at the regular council meeting to move forward with the purchase of a new vehicle at $70,000 and capitalize it, all the rest of this is a moot issue. There's no reason to argue about what we do. Let's get new headlights for the thing. If there's something else that is tragically, demonstrously against us in terms of the vehicle, let's take a look at what we need to do it. The vehicle's got about 70,000 miles on it. And that's a lot less than we put on other police vehicles. We just put tires on.
Tires are in, the brakes.
Brakes we put on, so I mean, we're maintaining the vehicle. I just think that, like I said, I would recommend starting to capitalize the $70,000 expense, starting with the 2026 budget, which I'm starting to work on now, trying to, and capitalize that over 7 years, take money out of the CAT fund. Each year, that 10's gonna drop back into the CAT fund to pick it off. And the other stuff is, to your words, de minimis. And the rest, I think you go for the bulletproof vest system and apply for that grant. I think Brian would certainly be able to do that. It's a simple grant to go for. And then continue to research over here. If you come up with something that's not gonna be affected because we're already putting money toward it, apply. All they do is say no. You got the money anyway, and that's not unusual to do that.
Is there any way we can use any of the impact fee money that the borough receives?
Impact fee money can be used, but I still say we've got the money in the capital fund. Let's use the money in the capital fund and replace it.
2 years
I
ago.
mean, even if we were to take money out of impact money, which we take and put in our cap fund until we use it, I still want to replace it. You don't want to just start burning money and not put it back.
2 years ago, I proposed raise the borough taxes, and that passed unanimously for exactly the purpose of replacing and maintaining our borough vehicles, which consisted of the Interceptor and one of the, we had an orange truck or something like that. So I'm sure we can figure this out, as Dan said.
A $1 million increase would generate about $19,000. About $19,000 right there. So, yeah. So you're looking at pretty big if you want to just do that. That's why I'm saying, if you put money in the capital fund, that's what you put it in there for. I mean, it's also there for blacktopping and streets and stuff, and you might just suck up a little wind on that, because you just don't want to throw it all out there at once. It'd be nice to fix it all up at once, I'd love to do that. But I think it's all doable. It's not that big a deal.
So can we, you mentioned 2 different ways to vote. We could vote here, or we can vote at the meeting
This is
next
a publicized meeting, so you have a quorum of the committee. So To my knowledge, you can vote. It's up to you guys, but I would take a recommendation to the full council. It's only in a couple weeks, and let everybody in.
I mean, we're only missing one person, right?
I agree with Dan, I say
I
we
mean,
should.
you're not sitting up here, but.
No, I'm
we're
not
only missing
asking, I
you.
was just asking questions, I can't vote.
Just vote on whether we recommend this.
The only other thing that I can say, and I guess probably a moot point, Dan, but if the repair for the rifle is an issue, my company will donate the funds to the borough.
Thanks a lot, John.
We're talking $500. If they
Five, was that what it
flop
was
it out,
for
that's
the
fine.
upper, and a new optic, or?
Upper and optic, yeah.
Okay.
Also up in arms.
I'm sure Up in Arms will help us out.
But I'm just throwing out there that my company's prepared to.
So I need to make a motion to have this vote at meeting, is that how it works? All right.
That would, yeah, that would.
May I say something?
Sure.
At the Tawana meeting two months ago, they had talked that they had actually purchased a K9 car, and it was, large majority of it was grants, and then the county contributed like X amount of dollars, so it cost them nothing.
And that's definitely what we'll look into.
Research is what we need to do.
And I think you'll find in that specific incident, it's probably because there's a mutual agreement with other agencies in the county for the use of the K9.
So I would like to make a motion to hold a vote at the regular open meeting scheduled for the end of this month to discuss and vote on do we need to vote on the AR?
I would, John, I'll put this together, I would include this in a budget resolution type of thing. Not resolution, but I would lay these all out
Okay.
and how we're gonna do this. So it would be a committee recommendation, to vote on the committee recommendation for additional equipment and vehicle.
Okay.
Something along those lines would work. So it's a recommendation. Full council. I will include everything in that recommendation.
Okay. And that'll come out in the agenda prior to.
Yeah.
Right?
I have another question, and I don't know if it can be answered here. But we were without a police officer for a large period of time, and there was money budgeted for that. Should that money not be available as well?
Well, it's in the general fund. I just said the money's available in our capital fund. I mean, the budget never changed and the money dropped back into the general fund. That's just what I told the committee.
So that's what you were saying?
There's no, yeah, the money's there. That's what I said.
How much is that?
Well, 104,000 was in the 2024 budget for police. So I don't know how much rolled over. They did have some expenses, part-time, et cetera.
So that's a motion, John, to move that to, so you need a second to move that to council.
I'll second that. Go ahead and call it.
in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any questions?
Okay.
Thank you.
Anytime, if you're having radio issues, I've got an old Kenwood TSK 4000. Remember the old ones that were that long and had four
Luckily, I
antenna?
got what's called TASTA.
Yeah.
Before you dismiss the meeting, I didn't see the agenda on the Facebook
That's
page.
because I didn't get it on there.
Okay, it has to be on 24 hours in advance.
I understand that. I know the rules. I didn't get it done. Boom. It's on the window. Didn't have a chance to get it up because I didn't know how to get it on the web page, because the person that does my web page work isn't here. So I had to learn how to do that, and I just learned that today. So I know the rules.
So it'll be taken care of in the future, correct?
As far as,
Okay.
God willing, yeah.
You also didn't have public comment at the beginning of the meeting, which is also required?
We can do that before or after, I thought.
No, you have to have it at the you can choose not to have, you can choose to have it at the end if you want to as well, but it has to be at the beginning of the meeting.
The
Before you
resolution
go
that was
forward.
passed was borough council meetings. Is this considered borough council
It's a
meeting?
public meeting.
Yes,
so
it's
set up
absolutely-
the same way. We basically
Okay,
had
so
comment
committee has to
during
be
the
the
meeting.
same.
I would say it's over with. If anybody wants to make further comment, let's
I'll
talk.
take credit for that one because I was not aware of that.
Well, it
And I
would have
started the
been,
meeting, so.
well, it would have been on the agenda, right? And you were also supposed to hand out agendas to individuals at the beginning of the meeting.
Yeah.
So he would have had that if you had handed them out to know to go to that step.
We're sorry, it's a little understaffed at the moment, Walt, but the next time we'll do much better.
Yeah, but if.
I'm just informing you guys of the law.
If your point is it can be before and after the meeting, we didn't adjourn this meeting.
No, it has to be at the beginning of the meeting,
At the
and you
beginning.
can choose to
And at the
also
end.
have one at the end.
But
But you don't have to have one at the end. The one in the beginning is required by law. Yeah.
I was not aware.
Yeah, it's just,
I think that's what Walt's doing, he's just trying to explain.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Did you have anything?
No.
The resolution we passed was to give 3 minutes to any individual who wants to comment at the beginning, so we could be advised by their
And it doesn't have,
insights on on what we're gonna vote. They can talk about anything they
We
like.
know that that's
They
good.
can talk about how much they like the color purple, for all I care. They got 3 minutes.
Thanks, Dan.
has the meeting been dismissed?
meeting's dismissed, yes.